A woman attacked my wife at Target. I thought she was insane until she showed me proof of a 2-year affair. And now I'm not sure my daughter is even mine. I'm still shaking as I write this. I don't even know where to start, but I need to get this out because I feel like I'm losing my mind. My wife Stacy and I have been married for 4 years. We have a 3-year-old daughter, Mia, who is literally my entire world. I run a small HVAC company here in Denver, nothing fancy, but it's steady work and it lets me be home for dinner most nights. I thought we had a good life. Normal, happy. 2 days ago, I took Stacy and Mia to Target because we needed stuff for Mia's upcoming birthday party. We were loading bags into the car when this woman came out of nowhere. I mean nowhere. She was maybe 50, dressed nice, and she made a beeline straight for Stacy. Before I could even process what was happening, she shoved Stacy against our car and started screaming at her. Called her a homewrecker and a bunch of other stuff I won't repeat. I immediately got between them, told the woman to back off, and Stacy just collapsed against the car door, shaking and crying. The woman looked at me with this mix of pity and rage and said, "You have no idea, do you? Poor bastard." Then she walked away before I could respond. I thought she was mentally ill. Had to be, right? Random attack in a Target parking lot by a complete stranger. Stacy was hyperventilating, kept saying, "Please don't make this bigger, please, let's just go home." That should have been my first clue something was wrong, but I was focused on getting her and Mia out of there. I called the police, filed a report. The woman's name was Hannah. She didn't resist or anything, just calmly gave her information and left. The officer said we could press charges if we wanted, but Stacy begged me not to. Said she just wanted to forget it happened. That night I couldn't sleep. Something about Stacy's reaction bothered me. The way she said, "Don't make this bigger," not "what a crazy person" or "I have no idea who that is." It was more like she was afraid of what would come next. So yesterday I called the police station, got Hannah's contact info from the report and asked if I could meet her. I wanted an apology for Stacy, or at least an explanation. She agreed immediately, said she'd been hoping I'd reach out. We met at a coffee shop this morning. Hannah was calm, composed. She ordered a latte and then pulled out her phone without saying a word, just got straight to the point. The first photo was Stacy and a man in what looked like a hotel lobby. They were kissing. The timestamp was from 8 months ago. My stomach dropped. Hannah kept scrolling. More photos, text messages. Bank statements showing hotel charges on nights. Stacy said she was working late at the clinic where she's a dental hygienist. The man was Hannah's husband, Blake. They'd been having an affair for 2 years. 2 freaking years. But that wasn't even the worst part. Hannah showed me a text thread from when Stacy was pregnant with Mia. Stacy had sent Blake a message that said, "Don't worry about the pregnancy. I've got it covered. Josh will never question it." I think I stopped breathing. Hannah just watched me and I could see she'd already cried all her tears about this. She was past that now. She just wanted me to know. "I'm sorry," she said. "I lost it yesterday when I saw her, but you needed to know. I don't remember driving home. I don't remember parking. I just remember walking in and seeing Mia on the floor with her toys and Stacy in the kitchen making dinner like nothing in the world was wrong. I played with Mia until bedtime, read her 3 stories instead of 1. She fell asleep holding my hand and I just sat there in her dark room looking at her face, trying to figure out if I could see Blake in her features. Stacy knocked on the door eventually, asked if I was okay. I said I was tired. She said she loved me. I didn't say it back. I'm writing this from our guest room at 2 a.m. Stacy doesn't know I know. Mia is asleep down the hall, and I have no idea if she's actually mine. What the hell do I do now? Edit. I can't respond to everyone, but I'm reading everything. A lot of you are saying get a paternity test immediately. I know. I'm calling a lawyer first thing Monday morning. I need to know what my rights are before I do anything else. And yes, I have screenshots of everything Hannah showed me. Update 1. It's been 3 weeks since my last post. I've been living in absolute hell, but I had to wait until I had all my pieces in place before I updated. The Monday after my post, I met with a lawyer named Erica. She specializes in family law and came highly recommended by a friend who went through a rough divorce. First thing she said was not to confront Stacy yet, not to let on that I knew anything, and to get the paternity test done ASAP through a legal channel so it would hold up in court. That was the longest week of my life. Pretending everything was normal. Kissing Stacy goodbye when she left for work. Playing with Mia every evening like my heart wasn't disintegrating in my chest. At night, I'd watch Stacy sleep and wonder how someone could lie so completely for so long. The test required cheek swabs from both me and Mia. I did it during a lunch break, took Mia to get ice cream and stopped by the testing facility. She thought it was a game, kept asking when we could do it again. Results came back Friday. Erica called me while I was at a job site. I remember sitting in my truck holding the phone and she said, "Josh, I'm sorry. There's no biological match. Mia isn't your daughter." I don't know how long I sat there. One of my guys came to check on me eventually. I told him I had food poisoning and went home early. That night was Mia's bedtime. She wanted me to read The Very Hungry Caterpillar for probably the 100th time. I sat in the rocking chair with her in my lap, reading about the caterpillar eating through all that food, and when I got to the part where it turns into a butterfly, Mia looked up at me and said, "Daddy, you're crying." I told her I was just really happy. She wiped my tears with her little hand and said, "Don't be sad, Daddy." Right then, I made my decision. Biology doesn't mean shit. I've been her father since the day she was born. I'm the one who walked the floors with her when she had colic. I taught her to count. I make her pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse every Saturday. She calls me Daddy, and no one is taking that away from me. I called Erica back that night. Told her I wanted to file for divorce and I wanted primary custody of Mia. She warned me it would be complicated, but Colorado law was on my side. I'm on Mia's birth certificate. I've been her parent for 3 years. I've provided for her financially and emotionally. That matters more than DNA. We spent the next 2 weeks building the case. I started documenting everything, every time Stacy came home late, every girl's night that ran until 2 a.m., every time she was too tired or distracted to put Mia to bed. I went back through our bank statements and flagged every suspicious charge. Hannah provided her evidence too. She'd been building a case against Blake for months before she confronted Stacy. Then I had Erica pull Stacy's phone records. The number of texts between her and Blake was staggering. Thousands, including recent ones where Stacy complained about me being suffocating and boring, and how she couldn't wait to figure out an exit strategy. The exit strategy part made me laugh. She was planning to leave me. Probably take Mia, get child support, and ride off into the sunset with Blake. Last Friday, I had the divorce papers served to Stacy at her work clinic. I wasn't there, but Erica said the process server reported she went white as a sheet and started crying immediately. She called me 16 times. I didn't answer. She came home around 6 p.m., eyes red and puffy, and found me feeding Mia dinner. "Josh, we need to talk." Not in front of Mia. We waited until Mia was in bed. Then Stacy stood in the living room holding the divorce papers and completely fell apart. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, it was a mistake. It's over now, I swear it's over. We can fix this, we have to fix this for Mia." I just looked at her. "You mean the daughter who isn't mine?" Her face went gray. You know. "Yeah, I know everything, Stacy. 2 years, 2 goddamn years." She tried to explain. Said it started innocent. Blake was a patient at the clinic. They became friends, then it just happened. Said she loved me, she loved our family, she just got confused. Then she switched tactics, got angry, said I was never home enough, said I made her feel lonely, said it was partially my fault. I stayed calm the whole time. That seemed to scare her more than if I'd yelled. "You're going to regret this," she finally said. "You're going to regret tearing our family apart. Mia needs her mother. Mia needs a parent who doesn't lie to her, and you've been lying to both of us since before she was born. She's my daughter. According to what? Biology. Because you sure as hell don't act like her mother. When's the last time you put her to bed? When's the last time you took her to the park by yourself? You've been too busy sneaking around with Blake to be a mother." She slapped me. I didn't react, just picked up my phone and left the room. I had cameras running by then and I just recorded her getting violent during a custody dispute. Stacy left that night, went to stay with her parents. I tucked Mia in alone and she asked where Mommy was. Mommy had to go help Grandma and Grandpa with something, I told her. But Daddy's here. Daddy's always going to be here. She seemed satisfied with that answer. I wasn't. The real fight is just beginning. Erica says we have a strong case, but nothing's guaranteed. Stacy could still get custody just by virtue of being the biological mother and me being nothing. But I'm not going down without destroying anyone who tries to take my daughter away from me. Edit. A lot of people are asking about Blake. Hannah filed for divorce the same day I did. Apparently Blake's employer, he's in finance, has a morality clause in his contract, and Hannah made sure they found out about the affair. He's currently on administrative leave, which is corporate speak for you're probably fired. Update 2. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to update. The last 4 months have been the most intense of my entire life, and honestly, I needed some distance before I could write about it coherently. So a lot of you said I was insane to fight for custody, that no court would give a child to a non-biological father over the biological mother, that I was setting myself up for heartbreak. You were almost right. The custody battle started in February and just wrapped up last week. It was brutal. Stacy lawyered up with some guy her parents paid for, and his entire strategy was painting me as vindictive and unstable. They argued that I was only seeking custody to punish Stacy, that my sudden desire to be a primary parent was suspicious, and that Mia needed her real mother. That last part hurt the most. Real mother, like the last 3 years didn't count for shit. The first few hearings were procedural stuff, establishing timelines, submitting evidence, that kind of thing. Stacy was allowed supervised visitation with Mia every other weekend, which killed me every time. Not because I didn't want Mia to see her mother, but because Mia would come back confused and upset. Stacy would pump her for information about what we were doing, who I was seeing, whether I was mean to Mommy. Mia's only 3. She couldn't understand why Mommy and Daddy weren't together anymore, why she had to go to a room with a stranger watching while she played with her mom. She started having nightmares, started asking me if it was her fault. I'm not ashamed to admit I cried myself to sleep more than once during this period. But then we got to the main custody hearing in May, and that's when Erica earned every penny I paid her. She brought everything. And I mean everything. Phone records showing thousands of texts between Stacy and Blake over 2 years, including messages sent while Stacy was supposed to be caring for Mia. Bank statements showing Stacy spent hundreds on hotels and dinners while I was handling all of Mia's expenses. Screenshots of Stacy's social media showing her out at bars and parties on nights she told me she was working late. But the most damaging evidence was the text message Hannah had shown me originally, the one Stacy sent Blake while pregnant with Mia saying, "Don't worry about the pregnancy. I've got it covered. Josh will never question it." Erica had a forensics expert authenticate it and explain to the court what it meant. Stacy had deliberately deceived me about Mia's paternity. She had planned from the beginning to trap me into raising another man's child. Stacy's lawyer tried to argue that the text was taken out of context, that Stacy didn't know for certain who the father was, that it was unfair to hold a panicked text sent during pregnancy against her. Then Erica brought out her nuclear option, a child psychologist who'd been doing evaluations on Mia. The psychologist testified that Mia showed a significantly stronger attachment to me than to Stacy. That Mia consistently referred to me as her primary caregiver and protector. That in play therapy sessions, Mia would draw pictures of Daddy's house but rarely mentioned her mother. That when asked about feeling safe, Mia always mentioned me, not Stacy. The psychologist's exact words, "In every measurable way, Josh is this child's primary psychological parent. Severing that bond would be traumatic." I watched Stacy crumble during that testimony. Her lawyer kept objecting, but the judge allowed it. When we broke for lunch, Stacy cornered me in the hallway. "This is cruel," she said. "She's my daughter, Josh, mine. You have no right to her." "I have every right," I said. "I've earned that right every single day for 3 years. You just gave birth to her. That doesn't make you a mother. A judge will never give you custody. Never. I'm her biological mother. You're nothing." "We'll see," The hearing resumed. Stacy took the stand and it got ugly. Her lawyer tried to paint her as a devoted mother who made one mistake, but during cross-examination, Erica tore her apart. "Ms. Stacy, how many times per week did you put Mia to bed in the 6 months before separation?" I don't know exactly. Several times. Mr. Josh's documentation shows you put Mia to bed 5 times total in 6 months. Does that sound like several times per week? I was working. You work until 5 p.m. Mia's bedtime is 7:30. Can you explain the discrepancy? Silence. How many of Mia's doctor's appointments did you attend in the past year? I attended them. Mr. Josh's records show he attended all 12 appointments alone. Can you name Mia's pediatrician? More silence. It went on like that. Every question exposed another lie, another absence, another moment where Stacy had chosen her affair over her daughter. By the end, Stacy was crying on the stand and her lawyer was objecting to everything. The judge called a recess. We waited 3 hours for her decision. When we reconvened, the judge looked at both of us for a long moment. Then she started talking. She said this was one of the most difficult cases she'd presided over because biology and best interests were in conflict. She said that under normal circumstances, a biological mother would have a strong presumption of custody. But these weren't normal circumstances. She cited Colorado's statute on de facto parentage, which recognizes that the person who has acted as a parent, regardless of biology, has parental rights. She noted that I was on the birth certificate and had been Mia's primary caregiver since birth. She noted Stacy's deception about paternity and the affair. Then she said the words I'll never forget. Mr. Josh has proven by clear and convincing evidence that he is this child's psychological father and that severing his custody would be detrimental to the child's welfare. While Ms. Stacy is the biological mother, she has failed to demonstrate that she has been the primary caretaker or that she can provide a more stable environment than Mr. Josh currently provides. Primary physical custody awarded to me. Stacy gets supervised visitation every other weekend to be re-evaluated in 6 months. I got the house. No alimony. Split of assets was minimal since we hadn't accumulated much and most of it was mine anyway. I didn't react, couldn't. Just sat there while Erica squeezed my shoulder and whispered, "You did it." Stacy screamed. Actually screamed in the courtroom. Had to be escorted out by security while she yelled about how unfair it was, how I'd stolen her daughter, how she'd appeal. Her parents tried to talk to me afterward. Said I was being vindictive, that Mia needed her mother, that I'd regret poisoning her against Stacy. I just walked past them to where Mia was waiting with Erica's paralegal, picked her up and held her tight. "Can we go home now, Daddy?" "Yeah, baby, we can go home." That was 3 weeks ago. Stacy hasn't shown up to her supervised visits. Her mom called to say Stacy is devastated and not ready to see Mia yet, which is probably for the best because Mia hasn't asked about her. Blake apparently lost his job. Hannah took him for everything in their divorce. Last I heard, he's living in some studio apartment and drowning in debt. I don't feel victorious. I just feel exhausted and sad and relieved all at once. This wasn't about winning. It was about making sure the person who needed protection got it. Final update. I wasn't planning to update again, but several people have messaged asking what happened, and honestly, I need to document this for my own sanity. It's been 11 months since the custody decision. For a while, things were as stable as they could be given the circumstances. Mia adjusted to our new life. I started dating someone, Lena, a structural engineer I met through work. She knew the whole story before we even went on a first date, and she never treated me like damaged goods. That meant everything. Stacy, meanwhile, went ghost. Didn't show up for her supervised visits. Didn't call. Just vanished. Her parents would occasionally text asking for photos of Mia, which I sent because whatever issues I have with Stacy, Mia deserves to know her grandparents. Then 3 months ago, I took Mia to our neighborhood playground. It was a Saturday morning, beautiful day, and Mia was on the swings like she always does. I turned to grab my water bottle from the bench, and when I looked back, Stacy was there. She was standing about 10 feet away just watching Mia. I don't know how long she'd been there. She looked terrible, like she'd lost weight, hadn't slept in weeks. But the look on her face when she saw Mia, it was desperation. "Stacy, you need to leave," I said, moving between her and Mia. "You're violating the custody order. I just want to see my daughter. Your supervised visitation is every other Saturday at the facility. You haven't shown up in months. You can't just ambush us at a playground." "She's my daughter." Mia stopped swinging, started looking between us, confused and scared. "Daddy." "It's okay, baby, keep swinging." But Stacy moved closer. Mia, honey, it's Mommy. Do you remember Mommy?" Mia just stared at her. "Stacy, I'm serious. Leave now or I'm calling the police." "You can't keep her from me, you can't." She lunged past me, tried to grab Mia off the swing. Mia screamed, like actually shrieked in terror. I pulled Stacy back and Mia ran behind me, crying, holding onto my legs. "Daddy, I'm scared." That's when I called 911. Stacy didn't leave. Just stood there crying and yelling about how I'd turned her daughter against her, how I'd stolen her life, how I'd pay for what I did. Police showed up in maybe 5 minutes. I showed them the custody order. They talked to Stacy, who was hysterical. One officer stayed with me and Mia while the other drove Stacy away. They didn't arrest her then, but they filed a report. 2 days later, Erica filed an emergency motion to terminate Stacy's visitation completely based on the violation. The hearing was fast. Stacy's lawyer tried to argue she was just a mother desperate to see her child. But the judge was done. Visitation terminated. Completely. Stacy has no right to see Mia until and unless she completes a court-ordered psychological evaluation and parenting classes. And even then, it would be up to judicial review. Stacy didn't take it well. She tried contacting me through her parents, through old mutual friends, through Facebook messages. I blocked everything. Had to get a restraining order when she showed up at my house one night screaming. Last I heard through the grapevine, Blake got arrested for domestic violence against his new girlfriend. Hannah's apparently doing well. She reached out a few months ago just to check on me and Mia. Said she feels guilty for how everything started but glad Mia is safe. And as for me and Mia, we're good. Really good. Mia's in preschool now and thriving. She loves her teacher, has friends, is learning to read. She doesn't ask about Stacy anymore. When she draws pictures of our family, it's me, her, and sometimes Lena. Lena's been amazing through all of this. She's not trying to be Mia's mom, she's just present. She reads to her, teaches her about buildings and bridges, makes her laugh. Last week Mia asked if Lena could come to her school's family day. We're taking it slow, but it feels right. I finished fixing up our house, the one I got in the divorce. Repainted Mia's room in purple like she wanted. Built her a treehouse in the backyard. Made this place fully ours. As for whether Mia will ever want a relationship with her biological mother, that's Mia's choice to make when she's older. I'm not going to poison her against Stacy. When the time comes, if Mia asks, I'll tell her the truth. But I'm also not going to force a relationship that Stacy hasn't earned. DNA doesn't make you a parent. Love does. Showing up does. Being there at 3 a.m. when they're sick does. Every ordinary, unremarkable moment that you choose to be present for, that's what makes you a parent. I've been Mia's dad every day since she was born. I'll be her dad every day for the rest of my life. No DNA test, no court battle, no biological father can change that. Thanks for coming on this journey with me, Reddit. I hope I never have to update again.